Please support the bar by subscribe, and sharing my cast. Follow my social media at Facebook, Instagram, Gab, Parlor, BitChute, YouTube, DLIVE, Twitch, CLOUTHUB, and Rumble, or join my Subscribe Star. Make a donation by clicking on the links on the description box. I am a listener-supported show, so any of the above is greatly appreciated. Help me grow and spread the truth, since the mainstream media obviously does not want to support truth. All links are listed on the description box. God bless you and enjoy.
Welcome to the Speak Uneasy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist, because we are in a different prohibition era.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Speak Uneasy. I am the bartender tonight. Now, to open up the show with our random Bible read of the night comes from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 23. A covenant of peace. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them. Even my servant David, he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it. And I will make them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness, and sleep in the woods. And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing, and I will cause the shower to come down in his season. There shall be showers of blessing, and the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase. And they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am the Lord, when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. Again, that is from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 23, all the way to verse 28. A covenant of peace. This random read is actually perfect for what is going on right now. Now, this can be interpreted in many ways. I interpret this in two ways. Not to say that I'm above anybody, but I am sort of a shepherd trying to spread the word of the Lord to you people, to my listeners. And hopefully that you would come to the Lord and strengthen your relationship or build a relationship, start building one. Another way we can look at this, or another way that I can look at this, is that our president, he is the shepherd. And he is trying to move people in the right direction. Hopefully, people would start coming to senses and start listening. Start listening and start seeing what's going on. I hope that if after this is all panned out with the election, that truth may be revealed to people. I still see many people out there who still don't see what's going on. Now, they either refuse to see what's going on, or their hatred buries them so deep that they just refuse to see what's going on. So that's my interpretation of the read tonight. This was an excellent pick. And right before the show, I prayed. I prayed to God, asking him to send me a message that would be relatable to what's going on so I can spread the word to my listeners. So that was an awesome read. This is something that I actually could interpret real easily. Some of these reads, they're very difficult for me to comprehend. I am not a genius. I'm not a college student. I barely got past high school. So, my comprehension skills for the Bible is very, very, it's difficult for me sometimes. I have to constantly read over and over again to think, like, well, what does that mean? How do I interpret that? And mind you, I'm not trying to interpret it as I am God. I'm trying to interpret because I want to know what God is telling me. So that's the reason for my interpretation. That's the reason why I do these reads, because I want to try to spread the message out there, so then you, as the listener, can start having a relationship with God. Because if I haven't told you before, God is real, the Holy Spirit is real. And the last time I did my show here, it was I felt the Holy Spirit talking to you guys. So the next thing we're going to do is one of my favorites also, is to mix the drink. Now, today's cocktail that we will be having, well, the cocktail that I will be having, but you're more than welcome to make it yourself. It's called Blood and Sand. Blood and Sand. So this is going to require 1 ounce of scotch, 1 ounce of orange juice, 3/4 ounce of cherry liqueur, and 3/4 ounce of sweet vermouth. So I'm going to go ahead and start by pouring my scotch. I have with me the famous Grouse Smoky Black. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that as my scotch for tonight. It's a blended peated scotch. Got 1 ounce in there. You know what? I'm going to sneak another 1/2 ounce in there. I like scotch. I really like scotch. So it's probably going to change up the drink a little bit, but I don't care. I'm a scotch guy, so I'm going to put that in there. Okay, 1 ounce of orange juice. Next, we'll put 3/4 ounce of cherry liqueur. Okay. Next, we'll put 3/4 ounce sweet vermouth. Okay, I have my glass. I have a martini glass. You're supposed to use a Nick and Nora, but I don't have a Nick and Nora glass, so I have a martini glass. So before I take out everything, I'm going to go ahead and put ice in my shaker. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dump the water out of my glass that's being chilled. Let that sit a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to shake. I'm going to shake the drink. Here we go. shake that, take this out. Now, I'm going to pour in the glass. Ooh, now I know why they call this blood and sand. The color looks like blood in water or in like beach, like the sand. Okay. Now, to garnish this, I have an orange peel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to light up. I'm going to have my lighter, and I'm going to squeeze the oils out of the peel while over fire. Okay. Make sure I squeeze that. Now rub the orange peel all over the glass, on the rim of the glass. And you're going to use your orange peel as a garnish as well. Let's put a little twist there, and bam. Now, a little bit of, let's give a little bit of history about blood and sand. Okay. Give me a minute here. But before I do that, let me go ahead and take a sip of the blood and sand. Cheers. This is a nice cocktail. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. Now, history of the blood and sand. Blood and sand is one of the few classic mixed drinks that includes Scotch whiskey. It was named after Rudolph Valentino's 1922 bullfighter movie Blood and Sand. The red juice of the blood orange in the drink helped link it with the film. Okay, makes sense. The recipe is first known to have appeared in the 1930 Savoy cocktail book. The Savoy, man. What was the name of that bartender from the Savoy? You know what? Great drinks have been coming out of the Savoy ever since a long time ago. Yeah, so that's cool. But you know what? This cocktail is really good. You know how there's cocktails that are like girly cocktails that are like strictly for women and men. If a man was to order some cocktail like that, it'll kind of make him look like kind of feminine. Well, this drink, it's perfect for both male and female. Just the flavor of it. I mean, I used Famous Grouse, Smoky Black, blended Scotch. It's a little bit peated. It's a smoky black. There's a little bit of smoke on it, but you can't even tell with everything else in it. I used the Luxardo Cherry Sangui Morlaco liqueur, which was my cherry liqueur, and I used the Rivada sweet vermouth with orange juice. So even though I put an extra half ounce of scotch in this thing, it balanced out very well. So there it is. Blood and sand. Now on to the show. So I have an article here. I'm going to start off with this article. We have a lot of things to talk about today. I have this article from socialjustice.news, and the title is Proposition 16, California voters reject proposition legalizing affirmative action. And this article is by Arsenio Toledo, and it was written on the 7th of this month. California voters resoundingly rejected Proposition 16, which would have repealed a 1996 ban on the use of race and sex-based affirmative action in the state's public sector. Around 56% of California voters have voted against repealing the ban. Had the proposition passed, it would have allowed public universities to create admission quotas, limiting a person's eligibility to enter a school based on merit, but on sex, race, color, ethnicity, or national origin. It would have also allowed state and local government agencies to consider similar factors when deciding who to hire and during the awarding of government contracts. The ballot measure was brought before California voters by the Democrat-controlled state legislature. Its goal was to repeal Proposition 209, a ballot initiative approved by voters in 1996 that effectively banned affirmative action policies in the state. Proponents of Proposition 16 argue that it is necessary to remove the ban on affirmative action to increase the enrollment of ethnic minorities like African Americans and Hispanic Americans. Why isn't there any Asians, dude? No love for the Asians? In the higher education system. Opponents, on the other hand, argue that this undercuts a system whose only basis for enrollment should be merit. Proposition 16 faced an uphill battle for approval. Proponents still have not persuaded the people that it is okay to discriminate against one group of people in the interest of trying to benefit another, said Ward Connerly, one of the people who led the campaign against Proposition 16. This was a classic case of the political establishment going up against the people, and the people kicked their butts. Connerly, a black Republican, was one of the people responsible for the passage of Proposition 209. Ward said that California voters saw Proposition 16 as an affront to the basic principles of fairness and merit. He and many opponents of the proposition also argued that this shows how the Democratic Party-controlled state legislature has strayed too far left of the electorate. Supporters of Proposition 16 were able to raise more than $31 million for their campaign, mostly from many wealthy backers, such as Steve Ballmer, owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, and Patricia Quillen, wife of Netflix CEO Reed Hastings. On the other hand, opponents on the proposition were only able to raise over $1.6 million for their campaign. However, what they lacked in funding, they made up in grassroots support. The campaign was led by a vocal contingent of Asian American activists and was funded mostly from small donations from the Asian American community and from conservatives like legal activist Ed Bloom. Supporters of Proposition 16 consistently trailed in polling. Supporters of Proposition 16 spent the entire campaign monitoring polling data to see how well their message was getting across. During the summer, when the engineered rioting first erupted following the death of George Floyd and issues of racial equality and police brutality were fresh in the minds of Californians, backers of the proposition believed that they would be able to ride this wave of civil unrest to a victory in the polling booth. Supporters of the proposition were able to make some headway. Independent polling data showed that the state's African American community was firmly supportive of affirmative action. However, the same could not be said of the white community, who were firmly against the measure, and of the Latino community, who were split down the middle. The campaign desperately needed to get through to the state's Latino community because they accounted for around a quarter of Californians' electorate. Unfortunately, no amount of funding helped the proposition's backers reach out to them. They were also not able to rely on help from the Asian American community. They used to be very supportive of affirmative action. However, polls showed support for such policies declining in recent years, particularly among Chinese Americans and recent migrants who have been relying solely on merit to gain entry into some of California's most prestigious public universities. Supporters of the proposition were also hoping that California's demographics and politics would help them score an easy victory. No Republican has been elected to a statewide office since Arnold Schwarzenegger won the gubernatorial race in 2006, and a majority of the state's electorate is now non-white. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Sorry, people. I mean, every time I see this dude's name or face, I have to. It just naturally comes out. Okay. Neither demographic shifts nor current events were able to help backers of Proposition 16. They were still trailing far behind in polls as late as mid-October, which shows that many in the state are still uncomfortable with giving people a leg up based on their sex, race, or ethnicity. Okay. Now, my thoughts on this article. First off, shout out to Arnold. He was a big influence in my life. Those movies were awesome. The Arnold movies. Personally, my favorite one is. I mean, I know I'm going off topic here, but I don't care. It's my show. I don't give a damn what people think. Commando was my favorite one. It was the most cheesiest one. It was probably one of the most horrible ones he made, but it was my favorite one because of the degree of stupidity in that movie was just out there, and it's entertaining to me, and it still is my favorite Arnold movie. So yeah. Anyways, back to my take on this article. So I'm glad that this didn't pass in California, and it's very surprising to me that of all races, the Asian community actually were the biggest proponents of not backing Proposition 16, which is good. That's great. Okay, when I was younger, yeah, I kind of bought into the whole race thing where affirmative action was needed in order to balance out how many people, when I was younger, I was, first off, I didn't even pay attention in school. Second off, the music that I was listening to and all these other influences that I was watching on MTV. I mean, now looking in hindsight, it was clearly a way to brainwash my thinking. And I did believe back then that racism did fully exist. But in actuality, yeah, it may have existed, but I may have experienced it a very few times, but it's not like we're in the 60s, where they're actually burning crosses in front of your house, or calling you whatever racial epithet they think you are. So, I'm always, okay, when it comes to employment or even going to school or whatever, with these things that you have to apply for, right? When you apply for school, or college rather, even in some instances, high schools, even when you apply for a job or whatever, I fully disagree on what ethnicity, what sex, what religion, and now, unfortunately, what sexual... I mean, I don't understand why this is even added in there, sexual preference. I don't understand. Are you going to work to go fuck somebody? It doesn't... I don't understand that. But now it's included in that whole group of labels, right? But my thing is, I was always under the impression, especially when I went in, when I went to when I went to school, was it never mattered on what you were labeled as opposed to what your brain really had in it. Your intelligence was what got you. I was always told that hard work and intelligence was always the key to become successful. Too bad that I'm not that intelligent and I'm hardworking. To a degree, I'm hardworking. I'm only hardworking if I need to be hardworking, especially if there's a company that's good to me. I will go above and beyond if they're good to me. But if they're shitty to me, then hey, you ain't getting nothing but bare minimum from me. Because if you're not going to look out for me, why should I look out for you? Anyways, I was always under the impression as I was growing up, and I kind of figured this out on my own because there really wasn't any kind of parents. There wasn't a balanced family. My base was not a balanced family. I had a very, very all over the place family. I came from a broken home, and I've experienced and seen a lot of things that little normal kids should not, which is probably why my mentality is very different now that I'm an adult, and I treat my kids very differently, and family is just so important to me. But anyways, I'm going on a topic. I always believe that what you are able to provide on the table, like what you have that can improve, advance a company, or that was the quality of how you are as a employee or as a student. What can you add on to make it better? That's the impression I've always had growing up. Instead of having this sex, race, color, ethnicity, sexual preference, it never did occur to me that was important. And which is probably why when I interact with different types of people, whatever their, I don't know, whatever their group title is here, I always got along with them because I never saw somebody for whatever their group title is. I always saw somebody as somebody who had for their character, their quality of their character. Because even people in my own car, I mean, if for you people who don't know the verbiage, car would be person of your own race. Even people of my own car, I would interact with, and they'd be complete assholes or dickheads. They all, all these people dickheads, assholes. It doesn't matter what color you are. It matters on their personality. And I was always under the impression that it doesn't matter what group title you are. There's always going to be bad people or people you don't get along with, even if it's in your own car. This being said, my best friend, he's a white guy. He's a white dude. He grew up in the same island I did, and I mean, culturally we're similar because of the culture of the whole island, and I'm not going to mention what island, but that. I mean, that was cool. I mean, he was my best. I considered this guy my best friend because he was always there for me ever since high school. When we first started, we always stuck together from freshman year all the way to senior year, and we still keep in touch with each other, which is oh man, this is more than 20 years. And this is the only dude who understood me as I was going through whatever I was going through in my life, because I've been through a lot of shit. I don't even know how I got to where I'm at now, but I think that's also in the grace of God, who's led me in a path this way. I mean, that's the only logical reason that I can think of. But anyways, I know I'm veering off to different things here. But yeah, as far as my concern with this article, Nobody should ever hire or accept people based on their ethnicity, color, religion, sexual preference, gender. It doesn't matter because, dude, the more you people pick up people this way, the quality of whatever school or company you're representing, the quality of that place is gonna keep lowering down because you're accepting and hiring people based on these types of merits. You know, you're not hiring on people based on quality of their brain and their work ethic. And unfortunately, and I'm gonna say this flat out, I'm not. First off, I'm not racist in any way. I don't. I see no color. I only see, do I get along with you or I don't get along with you. That's the way I see it. It's your personality, it's your character. So, unfortunately, because let's see. I'm trying to word this in a way where I don't offend, but then again, why should I even word it in a way that doesn't offend? This is the Speak Uneasy, right? Okay, so just by numbers, right? Just by statistics, the African American home have it's a great portion of unbalanced homes. Like, you have fathers that are making babies and just leaving. And I'm not saying that all of them are like that, but I'm just saying if you were to do a what you call it? Man, I'm having like a brain freeze right now. If you were to put the statistics up there with all like different types of cultural backgrounds or race, whatever you want to call it, a good majority of African American homes have fatherless homes. So that already puts the kid in, it gives them more of a struggle now because they don't have that that leadership and direction that they need from their father. And this goes, this goes to every home out there that every race has problems as far as fatherless homes. But it just so happens that, statistically speaking, that most of them come from African American homes. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. I mean, hey, I'm from an Asian background and I came from a fatherless home. So I don't judge, but I do see, like the numbers also. I mean, granted, even white homes have broken homes, Hispanic. Every race out there has broken homes because you have dickhead fathers that don't own up to their own responsibility. And that's the truth. There are dickhead fathers that just go out there, produce kids, but it takes two to tango with this. You have irresponsible women as well who, I don't know, they feel like they have the need to fix some dude who's all fucked up. Okay. I'm going everywhere with this because it's just all coming at me at the same time. Now I'm going to try to put this in order, okay? So, a lot of women, and this is just based when I was growing up, I mean, in my experiences as well, there are a lot of girls out there who are attracted to these loser dudes, like these thuggish dudes, these bad boy kind of persona dudes. And these chicks are attracted to these dudes. Now, these two get together, right? You got the bad boy and the chick who's trying to fix the guy, right? So now you have an irresponsible dude who just does whatever, and then you have this chick who wants to fix the guy. And now you two have a baby, and you have a baby knowing that the dude's all messed up, but yet you do it anyway because you think you can fix the dude. And now you have a baby. And now the dude who's so irresponsible and all that stuff goes out and tries to bang some other chick. And now you're stuck with a kid, and you're getting mad at him for not taking responsibility for his kid. Well, you saw the sign before you even got with the dude that he was some irresponsible, thuggish dude. So it takes two to tango with this. You know, they're both parents to blame for this. I mean, you make a mistake, but make sure that you never make that mistake again. Or, you know, sometimes for some people, it takes the same mistake many times to actually learn. I'm one of those people. It takes a lot of mistakes for me to learn. Not too many mistakes of the same kind, but, you know, a few. So this is the reason why we have a lot of people who have no quality in them, is because the system has set this up where you're going to be in a group of people, and that's how they're going to pick you, is because you're in a certain group of people, because they have to hit a quota. Now, that in itself, shouldn't that tell you that they don't care about your intelligence? I mean, they're pretty much saying, yeah, we'll hire you, whatever. And you know, you don't feel like you need to improve yourself. It kind of makes you lazy. It makes you stuck. It makes you stuck in a position where you don't need to advance, right? And then that's when you start growing up. That's when you start getting older, and then you're brainwashed into this thing. So this is definitely good that it didn't pass in California. I am against what you call it, affirmative action. It's stupid. It's stupid, and it'll make you more stupid if you believe that affirmative action is a good thing. So, okay, enough about that article. Now, the next thing I want to get into is about the censorship of a lot of these conservative broadcasters, or a lot of people who are with conservative views that are on social media. So I have this article here. Let me read this one. Yeah, let me read this one. This was written on October 26th of this year. Technology blog brand, The Reboot tags, politics, big tech censorship, media propaganda. Censorship by big tech is imperiling America's democracy. But then again, America is not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. We got to remember that, people. Democracy is a bad thing. Democracy is mob rule. It's majority mob rule. That's pretty much what democracy is. We're a constitutional republic. Just remember that. If there were any doubt, it is now clear that Twitter's censorship system is set up to survey, capture, control, and manipulate the political narrative within this country. And this article is by Armstrong Williams. I'm not sure where I got this one. But yeah, I'm gonna credit him for this. The big tech censorship by Jack Dorsey's Twitter of the New York Post story on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden is so egregious that I have to speak up. If there were any doubt, it is now clear that Twitter's censorship system is set up to survey, capture, control, and manipulate the political narrative within this country. Make no mistake, the mathematical parameters and algorithms that Dorsey's team developed and implemented had this goal in mind. Despite what he and his company might have you believe, his frustration and anger are more likely related to getting caught and the resulting public outrage, not the wanting from some algorithm. Any remaining lines between social media companies and the political propaganda and covert influence world have been erased. Powerful men such as Dorsey and the other tech giants who control social media platforms are meddling in inflammatory issues to engineer the influence the outcome of the upcoming election, or the election that just is we're still in this, people. There's no declared winner. There are lawsuits that still need to go through, And I am trying to avoid talking about the election because we'll talk about that later. Their efforts are a dangerous threat to our free society. It is hard to imagine a more insidious effort to subvert freedom of speech, expression, and the free flow of ideas, good or bad, than algorithms designed to shut down speech they don't like. The left is actively working to undermine the integrity of our elections. Read the plan to stop them now. Learn more now. The titans of social media, Dorsey at Twitter and Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, lead their companies the way China does. That is scary, people. That's very scary, and I will explain after I read this article. These men want to control what the public sees, which enables them to better monitor and ultimately influence every aspect of society and life. It is akin to China's free speech elite, where only speech from certain individuals and of certain categories is permitted, all controlled by the the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. Social media giants either don't care or are simply too removed from reality in their great gated Silicon Valley mansions to understand the long-term ramifications of their selfish and manipulative actions. In their tenure, the modern public square has evolved from having the right to free speech to the limited and controlled speech. All of this is driven by goals to daily influence a person's actions and decisions, whether it be to try a new diet trend or product, hold certain views, or take preferred actions. Now, these titans have been unmasked as wanting to control our thoughts. Twitter's censorship of the New York Post articles, which raised serious concerns about Hunter Biden and Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, is evidence that big tech has evolved into a twisted entity committed to polarizing society politically and silencing thoughts from anyone who supports the president or doesn't subscribe to the left's big government push. The social media world has learned how to use its tools to influence in a negative way, targeting the young with items of envy, designer Nikes, expensive cars, plastic surgery, and driving a must-have sentimentality into a level of obsession. The misuse of such tools can cause antisocial behavior, depression, and other horrible consequences. People are being driven to irrational action to obtain what they want. Weaponized, these same tools are effective in mass influence of thought, operations, and polarization of political beliefs, intolerance, misinformation, and propaganda delivery. The result is the creation of an irrational hatred of President Donald Trump that has not only triggered but justified assaulting or shooting someone just for wearing a MAGA hat. This must stop. Claiming big tech censorship and viewpoint discrimination are only intended to stop untruthful discourse is ridiculous and ends with these tragic outcomes. As we move closer to stifling free speech and elevating only the viewpoints desired by the Silicon Valley elite, let us remember the words of James Madison. Our First Amendment freedoms give us the right to think what we like to say and what we please. And if we, the people, are to govern ourselves, we must have these rights, even if they are misused by the minority. We can never lose sight of this because the moment we do will be the moment we cease to be free. And this article first appeared at the Daily Signal. Okay, shouts to the Daily Signal, and the writer of this, Armstrong Williams. Now, before I go ahead and give my thoughts on that, I'm going to take a break, and I will be back. Okay, and we're back. So, my thoughts on this. So, since the time this article was written, a lot of people have jumped ship from Facebook and Twitter, and have gone to other different types of social media places. I want to mention a lot of these places that they have gone to. Gab is probably one of the biggest ones that people have started going to. Parlor is another one. Rumble, which were, a lot of people are going out of YouTube. People are getting censored from YouTube as well. I can't forget to say that. And now people are starting to lose their livelihood, getting banned from Patreon as well. So, yeah, a lot of these companies are starting to purge people that don't have the same beliefs as these liberals do. It's like a modern day book burning. Okay, this is what the Nazis did back in World War II to destroy history. And they wanted to veer people to think in a certain way without giving them the truth, which is why I believe our education system is all effed up, because I think a lot of this information that I've even though I showed up to school, but my brain didn't really show up, but I believe that a lot of things that are being taught in schools since way back when, they're like little drips of information, little drips of truths meshed in with a lot of BS. It's kind of like, the best description I can give it is like fillers. Like, I remember a few years ago, Taco Bell got caught using fillers instead of meat. It's kind of like that. It's mostly fillers that they're giving us in these schools instead of, and they're putting like a little drop of truth into it, which kind of skews the truth because you're putting a lot of freaking fairy tales into it as well. So, more sites that people are going to. CLOUTHUB. People are going to CLOUTHUB. People are beginning to go to Twitch, DLIVE. Yeah. So a lot of people are jumping ship off these platforms and going in. They're being more creative now. They're going through these other outlets where they have more freedom to say what they can say. And that's good. We should, people that don't agree with the narrative, people that have their own thinking, like people who think out of the box and are free thinkers, this is exactly why we should become free thinkers, is because you have the mentality to look at other venues where you can say what you want to say. Because if we were thinking that if we were left inside a box of thought, can you imagine that we wouldn't even have other outlets to go to? Okay, so let's pretend that YouTube is the box, right? And all of us go into YouTube, but we were never informed that there are places like Rumble or BitChute, or DLive or Twitch. We were never told this because we were taught that YouTube is the only place to do all this stuff. Well, see, if you're a free thinker, then you would find other ways to go and express what you want to express without being stuck inside the box into their stupid rules. So that's one of the reasons why it's important to become free thinkers, because you start to think outside of the box. You start to go and find other ways where you can express yourself. So that's really important, why free thinking is important. And you should never ever be, when you're in school, you should never ever get in trouble for not necessarily challenging what is being taught to you, but by questioning. There's nothing wrong. There should be nothing wrong with questioning what's being taught to you. That's how you gain knowledge. I mean, that's what makes you a more, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes you a more diverse thinker, because you're thinking of other possibilities, which is cool. That's how we evolve, people. We evolve because we question things, and we veer off to try different things. That's what evolves us as humans. That's what makes us even better, is because you have a small percentage of people that are not afraid to try different things. You know, if we all weren't afraid to try different things, the human race would progress so fast, it'll be crazy. We would be in a different world now if we weren't all put inside a box. Now, if for you people who are philosophy buffs, this is a great example of this is Plato's cave. You know, we're all taught to stay in the cave and see certain perception of life. But when one person veers out of the cave and sees what life is really all about, it's a different world. Evolution can be so fast and vast if we were all free thinkers. But unfortunately, that's not the way we are. That's not where we're at right now. As a matter of fact, the left wants to keep you thinking the same way they do, which is in itself, it's enslavement, because they're not allowing you to think outside of the box, and they want you to think a certain way. Another good example of that is the movie 1984. If you haven't read the book or seen the movie, if you see the movie or read the book, it mirrors what's going on right now, like at the brink of the actual movie or the book. Because if we don't fight for what we have on the books, on the paper, like our Constitution, if we don't fight for that Constitution, even though it's kind of disappearing little by little, if we don't fight for that, we have nothing. We have no country. We have nothing. And a lot of people in the Revolutionary War fought to have something like that, and their deaths can't be in vain. We can't have their deaths be in vain. If we want to continue to live as a free society, we have to fight for that, and that's just the reality of it. And these people on the left, they don't understand this. They don't understand that just because they're on that team, they think that they're not going to be touched. Well, I beg to differ, because you would probably be the first ones. You would probably be the first ones to get it, because you were subservient to what you were being told. So people on the other side of the spectrum, they're not going to be the first ones to go, because we're going to be the ones to fight that, resist. That's what you call a true resistance, not the Democrats. Their resistance is stupidity. They don't even know what the hell they're fighting for. I mean, really? You want to get rid of all these things? The law, the Constitution? Really? You want to get rid of that? You're going to be the first ones to go, dummy. But hey, this is a free country. You can say whatever you want. You can even be stupid if you want. This is such a great country that it allows you to be stupid too. But, you know, what do I know what's in the mind of a liberal? Yeah, I may have thought a few things. I may have been a little bit liberal when I was younger, but at the same time, I didn't really care about anything. But as I grew up, and of course, as I have my own family, and a man makes sure he provides and protects for his family. At the same time, I start self-educating myself, and I'm glad I know I've mentioned this before. I'm glad that I wasn't a good student, because now I'm a student of life, and I'm learning everything I can on my own. So, anyways, that's what I was trying to get at. Thinking out of the box, that these platforms, a lot of people are jumping ship off these big platforms like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, even Google. You know, people, if you're going to use a search engine, use DuckDuckGo or StartPage or something, because they won't keep record of you, you know? Well, I mean, what's the purpose of Google? I mean, I know everything's being tracked, but at least try not to get tracked willingly. Try to find other ways of doing things as opposed to I know it's difficult, but do the best you can so that they don't track you. I know it's difficult. I know it's very difficult, but do the best you can. You know, at least you're trying to do the best you can to be free. And we should all strive to be free. Now, being free doesn't mean that it's going to be lawlessness. No, we still have to go by laws, okay? But yeah, that's where I wanted to get across as far as these big tech companies that are censoring people on the conservative side. But you know, I'm beginning to see a trend with a lot of Democrats who are waking up to all this. They see a lot of things going on in their party that they don't like, and they're jumping ship as well. So good for them. Good. It's a hard thing to accept truth sometimes, especially if you don't believe it. Like, if you've been brainwashed into one thing for so long, and you're given this little thing that kind of wakes you up, and then your first reaction will probably be denial. Like, no way, this can't be true. This is not the side that I chose. But as you get more information, slowly but surely, then the picture becomes even bigger. Like, your vision of what the truth is becomes a lot more bigger. And that's it was different for me because truth just slammed me, bam. And after that one truth slammed me, I just went diving in all the way, because that's the type of person I am. That's the way I'm gonna pick things up real quick. For most people, it has to be little by little. You know, they have to be thrown a little truth here, a little truth there. It's like a puzzle. So it connects that, and then it becomes a big picture. But for me, man, the minute I saw Loose Change back in 2006, I went all the way with it. I was like, man, I gotta look into this some more. I gotta look, and it just, you know how a roots of a tree is, where there's just so many different areas of roots. That's exactly how truth seeking is. There's so many pathways. There's just so many things, and that's what makes it really exciting, you know, to try to find the truth. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get out there about these big tech companies, and I know I'm repeating myself. So let's get into the election. I kind of didn't want to talk about what's going on. And granted, today's Monday, right? And it's a week and a day after the actual election. So my thoughts on this: if you don't see the obvious corruption in this actual process, I don't know what to tell you. There's one of two things that's going on with you. Okay? There's one of two things. You either believe what you hear on mainstream media and you take that as gold, or you hate this president so much that it just overshadows everything. Like, your hate for this dude just overshadows everything, and you're in it with the Democrats all the way. So my opinion on both those directions is that you are being irresponsible and you are contributing you are going to contribute to the destruction of this country if it comes to that. You are the one who's responsible for this. And don't complain. Now, I don't think Biden is going to win. Okay? Because there's still lawsuits going on. Okay? There's still lawsuits going on, and media, who the hell gave the power to the media to declare who president is? Man, who the hell? You know? That's why I don't even listen to the mainstream media, because all they do is lie to you. And you must be one sick person to want to hear lies all the time. I don't want to hear lies. You know, in my line of work, I'm a professional lie detector. Like, I can tell if you're bullshitting me. You know, it may not be by your words sometimes that I can detect it. I mean, but more than likely it is. Most of the time it's your body language to me, your eyes. That's how I can detect how you're bullshitting me. But, you know what? The radical left, their tactic is, you tell a lie so long, you keep telling the same lie that it becomes truth eventually. Well, not this guy. This guy ain't going to believe that shit. Because I know it's going to be lie after lie after lie after lie after. I'm just going to keep saying no. I'm not accepting that lie. But anyways, with this election, like I said, if you're ignorant to finding out what the truth is, and if we do become a communist country, it's going to be your fault, and don't complain about it, because this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. No advancement, a dark and gloomy country where everybody's depressed. Do you think communist countries have happy people? They don't have happy people. They don't even have people who want to advance. I mean, there's nobody happy in a place that lives in communism. Everybody that lives in communism, and I've talked to several people who came from communism. Okay? They wanted to get out so bad. And even when communism stopped at their country, they were so happy. But they left that country and came to this country. Because there's nothing positive about communism. There's nothing positive about that. It's modern day slavery. You know, the government is your master. Is that the kind of life you want to live? That's not the kind of life I want to live. I want to continue to be free. You know. Here's another thought on this election too. And I'm hoping that a lot of people see the same things I see. But if you don't, then I'm hoping that you at least listen to what I got to say, and hopefully you can do your own research on this. And this is just purely my opinion. Now, if you don't realize the corruption in this election, right? Can you imagine how many years that these motherfuckers have been getting away with selecting who becomes president and how the game is played? This is not the first time that this has happened, people. This is not the first time. This shit has been going on for years, for decades. It's been fixed. And I know some people would like casually say, yeah, it's fixed. I'm not going to vote because it's fixed. It doesn't matter who I vote for, because even if I do vote, you think that person's going to... No. You're right to a degree, but now do you see the, like, does it hurt you now as it should? Like, do you see how this is all controlled to a certain way? Do you see it? Because I've seen it for such a long time. I'm in the minority on this. Because back when I woke up in 2006, when I was trying to explain all these kind of things to these people, they would halfway agree with me, like, yeah, they're selected, but they were so passive. But now you can't be passive. This is so out there. Like, you have to see it, and you have to feel it in order for you to make a difference about it. And if we all stick together and have a voice and call them out for their BS, we can change it. We can change it. We should have been doing this a long time ago. And like I titled my last show, well, was it my last show? Where being silent is what got us here. Well, we can't be silent anymore. And we have to keep on speaking out. And we have to keep calling these politicians out for their bullshit. We have to. Because if we don't put their ass to the fire, they're going to get away with whatever they're going to do. And that's our fault, because we did not call them out for their stuff. We have to call these people out. We have to be very vocal. We have to put people in office that are willing to do the job to fix things, who are noble. I know this has become a popularity contest, and a lot of people donate so much money to certain, I mean, it to a degree, it is a messed up system. I mean, it's worked for years for us, but at the same time, corruption has like taken root of it, and we have to get rid of the corruption. And the only way we're going to do that is to keep calling these politicians out on their bullshit and hold them accountable for everything that they make decisions on. This, being a politician, being a politician should be something noble. It shouldn't be a job where you get rich or you get all this power. No, you're supposed to be representing the people who voted you in. Right? We got to keep that noble. We got to find some way to change the laws where they don't make X amount of money or have this much power. No, we have to. It's difficult to think of how to fix this, because it's especially when you have a bunch of lawyers in there, man. They skew words. They make words different from what they are intended to be used as. So, but yeah, that's what I got on this election. I mean, we're still in the fight here. There's still lawsuits going on. There's so much fraud going on. And I don't have to explain what the fraud is. You people, I mean, if you agree with me, you see through all this BS. And for those who are new to this show, this is the truth of what's going on in this country, and it's been going on for a long time. Now, the reason why Trump got elected back in 2016 is because they didn't expect it. That's how arrogant they were. They did not expect her to lose. Even I thought she was going to win, and I'm not even a Hillary supporter. I thought she was going to win. But as election grew closer and the more Trump was out there campaigning, and when I listened to him, because when I first heard that he was going to run, I liked him, because I knew that he was the type of dude that will rebuild this country to a stronger country, only because of his record as a business owner. I knew that it would be better for the country, and I liked him. But being that I was awake since 2006 and knowing how the system kind of works, I expected Hillary to win hands down, because it was her turn. It was her turn to become president. But when he won in 2016, man, that was a game changer for everybody. And I'm talking about on both sides of the coin. I'm talking about the conservatives and liberals. Because now these Democrats got a lot more, they become a lot more blatant to their own corruption. It's like they don't care what you think. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And is this the kind of people, is this the kind of country you want to live in, where these politicians can do whatever the fuck they want? If we can't do whatever the fuck we want, why are we allowing them to do whatever the fuck they want? It shouldn't be that way. And it's not a good thing to do whatever the fuck you want to do to begin with, right? But like I said, if we can't do whatever the fuck we want, why are we allowing them to do whatever the fuck they want? It's stupid. It's dumb thinking. It's it's accepting slavery. It's accepting that like you have empathy to your own slave master, you know? And that's not the way we should be thinking. We shouldn't be cucked. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. But yeah, I mean, why are we allowing? Well, I'm not. But a lot of people on the left, they I don't know why their mentality is like that. I don't understand where this whole guilt thing comes from. Oh, gosh, has the brainwashing been that bad? Are they that far gone that they can't be reeled back into reality? Man, this is crazy, people. I don't know what kind of world we're living in anymore. I mean, sometimes I feel that way. But a lot of times I'm not surprised. And a lot of it has to do with what I do for work. A lot of things don't surprise me sometimes. But some of these outrageous things, like how do people accept this? I that part I don't get. Like, how do you accept these people just blatantly being corrupt, like blatantly changing votes? How do you agree with that? How do you go with that? How do you support that? Because you hate one other guy, your hate is so strong that you feel that you need to get the upper hand no matter the cost is, no matter what. Are you stupid? If you support something like that, you need to realize that when the tables turn, and if the other side does that too, it's not going to matter because, you know, I tried not to talk about this election. I really didn't. I didn't want to because it's obvious. It's very obvious. It's something that I don't even have to be talking about. But, you know, reading these articles kind of led me to it. And a lot of it, the thing that bothers me is the people that accept this, the people who support that. Because, like I said, one of two things. They're either brainwashed where they believe that mainstream media's information is true to what they say, or they hate Trump so much that they don't care. They don't care. They just hate him. It's our responsibility, people, to find out what the truth is and to live by those truths. Because even if you're a so-called Christian and you support that, can you actually call yourself a Christian? I mean, where's the truth in that? Christianity, part of Christianity is truth. And if you support lies, how the hell can you even call yourself a Christian? Do you just claim to be a Christian when it's convenient for you? Being a Christian is supposed to be every day, living the way Christ wants us to live, being his servant, finding the truth, living by that truth, It's hard. It is hard. It's hard living as a Christian. It really is. But you have to strive. You have to strive to that. And we can't give ourselves excuses saying, "Oh, we're not perfect. Oh, we can never be perfect." No, we have to strive to be perfect. We have to. That's how we become better people. You can't sell yourself short. Yeah, it's difficult. You think even these so-called religious leaders who are good, do you think that it's easy for them to be Christians? No, they fall into sin every day just like we do. The 12 apostles fell into they fell into a sin as well, even as they were following Christ. But we have to strive for that. Because that's what's going to make us better people, right? Having God in our life. Not the way the left thinks, where there's just there's no God. Are you kidding me? That is a chaotic life. Look at them. They are horrible. They are miserable people. They hate humanity. They hate this country. There's nothing but hate on their side. And even when the media calls out they call Biden as the winner, do you see a bunch of conservatives out there burning shit? No, you don't see it. It's only on their side because they're the ones who are filled with hate. Now, if you see some kind of physical thing going on with conservatives because they were tired of this shit, you can only push somebody so much to where they'll break, because people are only tolerant for so much. But the more you push, the bigger the backlash will be. A lot of conservatives, and I'm not saying all, okay? We're very patient people. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in God, which is why we hold back. But you push people like that too far, you don't know what you're asking for. It's like shaking a can of soda, right? You shake it, you shake it, you shake it. When you finally open it, it bursts out. That's exactly what's going to happen. And these rioters out in the streets, they keep pushing. They keep pushing. They keep pushing. You people got to be careful what you ask for, because you might not be able to stand up to it. We have a moral compass on the conservative side. I'm not saying, there are a lot of fucked up conservatives out there too. But for most part, since a lot of us, a good majority of us are God-fearing people, and we do believe in God, we have a moral compass. But when we are pushed too far, then it explodes. But I'm not trying to push that. This is what I'm gonna push to you people. Okay? If you're conservative, even if you're liberal and you're beginning to hear this for the first time as truth, or perceived as truth, because I'm always a proponent on doing research to find what truth is, right? I lost my train of thought. That's crazy. I was about to say it and I just lost it. Anyways. Okay. So what I am trying to push here is a relationship with the Lord. Everything that's written on the Bible, at least when I read it and when I try to find answers to life or direction, or even if I want God to talk to me, answers are in that book. They're in the Bible. And what I'm trying to tell you people is to have a stronger relationship with God. these times are very, very telling. Like, they're very scary, because a lot of the things that are said that were prophesied in the book, in that Bible, they're coming true. I mean, the name America is not in it. The name Donald Trump or Biden's not in it. But it parallels a lot of what's happened in history, and it's repeating itself again. I think this is the modern day Babylon. I'm sorry, I stuttered there a little bit, but I stutter a lot. This is the modern day Babylon. We're living in Babylon. And not only that, but a lot of these abominations are being accepted as normal too. Man, this is bad times, people. And that relationship with the Lord is very important. We can still have a good time, but we also have to have time to worship. But that's my whole thing on the election and what I think people should be doing. I think a lot of people should be having that relationship with God, because honestly, no man can fix this problem. The only entity that can fix this is the Lord, God. He created this earth. He can destroy it. He destroyed it once. He can destroy it again. I don't know why that doesn't scare you. It scares me. It scares me, yes, but it doesn't scare me because I know where my heart is. And look, I'm not perfect, right? I still have flaws. Everybody does. I still sin. But I'm trying. I'm trying to become a better servant to the Lord. And part of this, speaking to you, is me serving the Lord, because I'm trying to get the word out to you people. So I know I've done a lot of ranting today, and I hope you guys are enjoying your cocktails. But we have to just sit back and see what's going to happen. But while you're sitting back and seeing what's going on, take the time to establish that relationship with God, because it's very important that you have that. I don't know about you people, but I want to be in Team God when this is all over. I want to be part of God's team. I don't want to burn in eternal hell. I don't want to be in a place where I'm miserable all the time. I mean, I'm always miserable when I go back to California. So that's a taste of hell for me. Especially the double doozy is when I go to work in California. That's a double doozy for me of how I really feel, because I'm never happy over there. But that's another discussion on another time. Like I said, when that part of my life is done, I will open up the book to everything that I've been through. And that is going to be a very interesting discussion. But until then, that being said,
the bar is now closed.
I can't help but wonder if I'm under a spell. It's more than a passing notion. I've never fallen with such devotion. I can't help but wonder if it's only a dream. Am I naive or can I believe that things are really as they seem? Can Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't tame it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. 'Cause lately I can't help but